Why is it that you can stop eating an apple halfway, but never a bag of chips? Why does just one bite of chocolate, that innocent little square, somehow turn into the whole bar every single time? You might think it's just lack of willpower, that maybe you're simply not disciplined enough, or you just love food a little too much. But what if I told you? It's not you. It's the food. And once you see how it works, you won't look at cravings the same way again. Every single day, billions of us reach for foods we know we shouldn't. We sit down with the intention of being good, yet somehow we end up elbow deep in a snack bag that mysteriously empties itself. We tell ourselves just one bite, or just one small treat. But before we know it, there's an empty wrapper, a wave of guilt, and a quiet promise to do better tomorrow. But here's the twist. Cravings aren't just hunger. Cravings are chemistry. They're engineered, carefully, deliberately, to feel like hunger. Somewhere between biology and business, between our instincts and their ingredients, lies the reason why some foods hook us harder than others. And once you see what's happening behind the scenes, you'll understand why resisting certain foods feels almost like resisting gravity. Let's start with what a craving really is. Your brain has a built-in reward system, a beautifully complex network, powered by a chemical called dopamine. Now, dopamine isn't the pleasure molecule people think it is. It's the motivation molecule. It's what drives you to chase the things that feel rewarding. Food, connection, comfort, achievement, anything tied to survival or satisfaction. Here's the interesting part. Your brain can't always tell the difference between natural rewards and engineered ones. When food scientists create products with the perfect blend of sugar, salt, and fat in formulas designed to light up your dopamine circuits, they're not just feeding your body. They're speaking directly to your brain's motivational wiring. And your brain responds exactly the way it's built to. It wants more. So you enter a loop that feels like hunger, but is something far deeper and far more intentional. That's why you can walk past carrots without a second thought. But the moment you open a bag of chips, your hand keeps going back in. Again and again and again. It's not a personal flaw. It's biology being strategically manipulated. Now, here's where it gets fascinating. And maybe a little unsettling. The foods that hook us the most, they've been intentionally designed that way. Food companies employ teams of scientists, people whose full-time job is to figure out what makes your brain light up, and then recreate that feeling in edible form. They search for something called the bliss point, that perfect mix of sweetness, saltiness, richness, and texture that hits your reward circuits in the most irresistible way possible. You know when something tastes just right. Not too sweet, not too salty, just perfect. That's not luck. That's engineering. And you'll notice something. You can never quite recreate those flavors at home, even if you use the very same ingredients. Because your kitchen cooks for your stomach, but their labs, they cook for your brain. And when you understand how they do it, you understand why cravings feel so powerful and so difficult to escape. Now let's go deeper into the science, the research, and the strategies that make some foods almost impossible to resist. So, how exactly do they do it? How do companies create snacks that feel almost magnetic? Foods that disappear the moment the bag opens? It starts with data. Every crunch, every chew, every tiny sound has been studied, measured, and optimized. Scientists analyze everything: how quickly sugar melts on your tongue, how the texture shifts with each bite, how the sound of a chip cracking activates your reward center before the flavor even hits. Even the color of the packaging can nudge your appetite upward without you ever noticing. It's not random. It's research. In the 1980s, companies invested millions into something called palatability research. Neuroscientists, chemists, psychologists, all working together to find the exact point where food stops being just delicious and starts becoming addictive. That discovery became the bliss point, and it transformed the food industry forever. But flavor is only part of the trick. There's something else: sensory contrast. Chips and fries are crispy on the outside, soft on the inside. That texture shift creates novelty, a tiny spark of excitement that nudges your brain to take another bite, almost automatically. Then there's vanishing caloric density. Snacks like Cheetos melt so quickly, your brain thinks you haven't eaten enough. The calories vanish from your brain's tracking system, so you just keep going. Not because you're out of control, but because your brain is responding exactly the way it was built to respond. It's easy to feel tricked, and honestly, we kind of are. In 2013, former food industry insiders revealed just how deeply companies study craving behavior. One expert said something unforgettable. "We're not just selling food. We're selling bliss." That was the moment it became clear. Some foods weren't made to satisfy hunger. They were crafted to feed habits. But this isn't about fear, and it's definitely not about blaming yourself. Once you understand that cravings are designed, you become more aware, more in control. That chocolate bar suddenly feels less irresistible when you realize it was engineered to feel irresistible. The spell breaks. The illusion cracks. And you start making different choices. Not because you're forcing discipline, but because you finally understand what's happening inside your brain. Awareness is empowerment. It's the difference between walking into a trap and walking around it. Our cravings aren't weaknesses. They're signals, echoes from a brain that evolved in a world where food was scarce and precious. But today, we live in a world where food is engineered to chase us. And here's the beautiful part. When you understand what hooks you, you also understand how to unhook yourself. You start to notice the patterns. You pause before reaching into the bag. You breathe. You remember what's really happening. And suddenly, the craving becomes a choice. And maybe, just maybe, the next time you're holding that bag of chips, you'll think, it's not lack of willpower, it's biology. And now, I'm in on the secret. Thank you for watching. And if you found this fascinating, hit subscribe and join us here on Yverse, where curiosity meets understanding, and where we uncover the science behind the things that drive us. See you in the next one.